Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Cardano, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we think is likely to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord guys, you're missing a trick. Check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. It's the first place we go to notify you of the ins and the outs of everything that is going on in the crypto space, so why not keep your finger on the pulse of crypto by joining us in Discord. Okay, Cardano, head up with USDT on the hourly chart, and Binance is our data source. And boy oh boy did it have a breakout yesterday. Okay, so a small while ago, I was talking about mid kind of 30s. I thought that was off of the kind of the scope of things, but yeah, FOMO doesn't ever seem to surprise me. Or as always seems to surprise me, I should say. We had a huge kind of breakout here on Cardano's ADA. It kind of smashed through some of these expectations that we had in terms of these little mini gaps, and it really did push on up higher. Now, the issue that we have here with this is we still don't have a good structure at this point to give us the confidence in thinking that we've got a bear market reversal or anything like that. If anything, this definitely is pretty much driven from a DXY dropping and isn't really driven from huge amounts of demand, right? And there's a significant difference between what happens when the DXY drops. And let me just bring up the DXY here, right? So this is what happens with the DXY. The DXY fell all the way down here, right? And this is the dollar index for those who do not know, right? The dollar index, which basically means the value of the dollar. So if the value of the dollar goes down, then the other assets that normally you use dollars to buy will go up, because you know there's an intrinsic value of an asset, right? So ADA or Bitcoin or whatever, it has a value that someone is willing to pay for it. Now, if the currency that you're using to buy that asset is devalued, well, you need more of that asset or more of those dollars to basically buy that asset, right? And so what we actually saw happen yesterday was the DXY falling down. And because the DXY goes down, well, everything else goes up, okay? This does not give us an indication that there's a huge level of demand coming in here. But if you do couple, of course, the DXY devaluing the dollar by dropping down, and of course a little bit of FOMO, well, you end up with this huge surge to the upside. Okay, so although I thought this was off the cards by pushing up into the mid 30s, it does look like we've actually achieved that. And you know, well, now we have to kind of consider what this might mean. Now, one of the things I do want to kind of say is Elliott wave theory kind of tracks the herd, right? It tracks what the majority of people are doing. However, with a DXY like this, basically dropping down and pushing these assets up, there isn't actually a lot of herd mentality in this. Now, there's some expectations, so I'm going to draw them out here, but let's kind of also refrain on thinking that this is, is overly positive. Okay, so what essentially this means is we've overextended this fifth wave. Okay, I kind of said this yesterday, but I was expecting us to kind of top out at around 30. But the DXY obviously had different plans. So taking a look at it, this is a clear wave 4 structure, so we still have a little bit more upwards movement to go. And so don't be surprised if we start kind of pushing up more towards the 35.17 through to about 36. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little rectangular box right on here, and I'll kind of label that up in there somewhere in this kind of range, 35.17 through to about 36.12 approximately. Okay, so that's going to be our kind of estimated high point on that, and you can kind of see that it doesn't overly change the beginning of this structure. Okay, and there's no decent wave 2 scenario, right? A wave 2 scenario would be like a really strong 50 to 88.2% retracement. We don't see those. So instead, you kind of have these kind of corrective structures being put together, and then all of a sudden you have this kind of really big well, it's kind of what should have been a small wave, kind of 5-wave structure with this overextension on that wave 3, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then come down here into that 5th. Now, it could be possible that we adjust this a fraction more and we kind of change where these things lie and all those kind of good stuff. But for the most part, yeah, I don't think it overly matters, because all it really is here at this point is an ABC structure. Now, it could be that, we actually have to park up our ABC here. We have a small mini kind of correction, and then we go into a zigzag pattern or something like that. That's also possible. And so I'll leave those things open, but for the most part, I'm still not confident that, we're done with the lows yet. And instead, all of this is kind of just artificial. Now, if I bring up our stochastic RSIs, we can take a look. We can say, okay, we're still obviously looking for a little bit of a higher push here on Cardano's ADA. And, we're oversold on our hourly chart, so we can move up. So that's a positive, right? We can take a look at our daily 8-hour, 4-hour, they're all overbought. And so this can go as confidence on a bigger macro, right? A bigger macros are telling us actually this thing's about to pop and it's about to go down. So we want to be a little bit aware of those. We don't want to kind of, jump straight in thinking, fantastic, we're in a bull market, because that's definitely not what we're looking at here. We would need to have a much better structure to kind of give us that kind of confidence. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into our stochastics here. And we're going to start up on the weekly. Here is the weekly stochastic RSI. Just take stock of this. It has shot all the way up here. This is far too much of movement on the weekly time frame. If this weekly ends up back up in this overbought area, then we're in problems. If we just load up our chart here on this, we can see the last time that we were overbought for Cardano, and it was around here. Okay, at 51.97. Okay, if we end up being overbought before we actually reach those levels, then what we've gone and done is basically a divergence, basically coming down into lower highs, and whilst maintaining potentially higher on our stochastic. This is a divergence. It would be bearish, so bear that in mind. Okay, now our weekly time frame has progressed far too much. I think it's not a good sign. Okay, normally you like slower moving stochastic RSIs, not faster moving stochastics. So although yes, there's potential for a slightly higher move here on the weekly, I wouldn't be holding my breath. Now, as we kind of come up into our daily, let's just take a look at this. We're flatlining right at the top here, overbought. If we do take a look at the chart, you can obviously see the last time that we were overbought. This is actually no divergence, so that's okay. I'm not too concerned with that. The 20-hour also up in the overbought. Again, no divergence, so that's looking good. We have higher prices whilst maintaining that, so that's okay. But we are, of course, overbought. Okay, overbought on the 16-hour and the daily, the 20-hour and the 16-hour and the 12-hour and the 8-hour and the 4-hour. All of these, right? So the 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and daily charts are all overbought. Okay, not a lot of confidence is or should be put into this at the moment. There's definitely some small micro movements, and of course, you can get carried away with these things. But for the most part, at the moment, it doesn't look like there's a need to go higher than essentially 35 to 36 cent. That seems to be where that pocket is going. So yeah, there's potential here now for quite a big drop to the downside. We'll have to keep a close eye on that weekly time frame, because if that weekly time frame does go up into an overbought area while setting a lower high, then that would be bearish divergence, and we should expect more pull to the downside overall. Essentially, a lot of people might be starting to think, hey, look, cup and handle. It's a possibility, but I don't like the structure of it, so we'll see how that kind of plays out. But for the most part, what a fantastic run this has been. We were looking for the lows down at the bottom here. We were trying to really scope it out for the swing trade. This is a fantastic swing opportunity. I exited my long a tad too early, but I wasn't happy with where we were structuring out, so I'm willing to kind of say, yeah, that's good. That was my bad that I exited a bit earlier on my ADA trade, but I'm happy to be out of it for now. I don't like the idea of staying in a position when really all that is creating the movement to the upside is a DXY like this. And the DXY has come down quite a bit. My expectations, though, are that this DXY climbs right back up again, and that is going to be pretty bearish for many. So just keep an eye on that. I mean, this is the hourly. Let's kind of take this into our daily position here. We're kind of looking at it for like this kind of position. So a DXY pushing up towards the 120 could be an interesting point. So yeah, there's lots of things to kind of think about, lots of things to talk about in the near future. I'm not too confident thinking about where things are potentially going to go, but Cardano at the moment doesn't look like it's in a bull market. It just looks like it's become the casualty of the DXY, essentially. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Are you looking for cheaper ADA? Because I'm pretty certain there's going to be cheaper ADA in the future. Or are you starting to think, actually, no, the bull market's arrived and we're going to the moon? Let me know in the comments down below. And guys, I'll catch you all in the next one.